Let the games begin. Competition is now underway at the Ontario Winter Games. Good evening and thank you for joining us. For the first time in 50 years, the Ontario Winter Games have officially begun in Thunder Bay.
This morning marked the start of various sporting competitions throughout the city. Joe Sadowski has been following the story. Joe, I understand there are well over 1,000 athletes coming into the city for the games.
That's right, Ryan. More than 1,300 athletes, in fact, are slowly arriving in the city. And this afternoon, the games kicked off with ringette matches at Delaney Arena and indoor soccer or futsal games at the Lakehead University Thunderdome that featured the hometown Thunder Bay Chill ladies soccer team. Let the games begin. AAA level ringette was the first official event that kicked things off at Delaney Arena. Ava Robinson, a ringette player from London, is itching to get on the ice and compete with Ontario's best.
I'm super excited to get on the ice. The competition's really hard with all these amazing players, and just have the competition level be this awesome is just a really great experience and opportunity for me.
This year's edition of the Games features 13 different sports, with 6 of them happening this weekend and the other 7 happening next weekend. The athletes range from 12 to 18 years of age, and ringette coach Céline Leduc says the atmosphere for the Games is something that these young athletes won't soon forget.
It's kind of like a mini Olympic. That's what it feels like. We have opening ceremonies this evening, so it'll be exciting to see all the athletes from the different sports all come together for the Ontario Winter Games.
Down the road at the Lakehead University Thunderdome, the first few games of futsal or indoor soccer kicked off with our local squad, the Thunder Bay Chill ladies team, suiting up for their first game. Chill player Sarah Jacobson says having the games here in the city is something she'll always remember.
Really excited. It's a great opportunity for us, and it should be fun. It's nice to play at home. All of our friends and family can come, and it's really special. Just some good memories, fun memories with the team. It's a great experience for all of us to play here and just have fun overall.
Games organizer Barry Stribe says despite the long wait, it was well worth it.
When you think about 50 years going by, it's like, geez, why did it take so long? But now we're here and we're going to do the very best we can as a community. And as I said, the volunteers came out in numbers, and that's no surprise to us here in Thunder Bay, because every major event we do, we can always count on our volunteers.
The games continue on throughout the weekend until Monday and are completely free of charge for all spectators. Then the second set of events kick off next Friday, February 23rd until the 26th. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
And the opening ceremonies are underway this hour at Fort William Historical Park. We'll have a full report tonight on TBT News PM.
A Thunder Bay jury has found former Canadian Forces medical technician James Wils guilty on 4 of 7 charges, including sexual assault and sexual exploitation. The verdict follows a 3-day trial held this week at the City Courthouse. Wils pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of sexual assault, 3 counts of breach of trust, and 1 count of sexual exploitation. The charges relate to allegations that Wils performed unauthorized breast exams on 3 potential recruits into the Canadian Forces while he was stationed in Thunder Bay and London, Ontario between 2005 and 2008. The jury returned with a mixed verdict, finding Wils guilty of 1 count of sexual assault, 1 count of sexual exploitation, and 2 counts of breach of trust, but not guilty of the remaining charges. Wils has previously been convicted on 12 other counts of sexual assault and 22 counts of breach of trust. A sentencing date for these latest convictions will be set in March.
Local anti-nuclear groups are asking the city to support a proximity principle.
That's the idea that high-level nuclear waste should be kept as close as possible to its source. Deputations were made this week to the city's Intergovernmental Affairs Committee. Lee Noonan has the details.
In a boardroom packed with concerned citizens, representatives of 2 local anti-nuclear groups made their case to the city's Intergovernmental Affairs Committee to support a proximity principle. The idea that nuclear waste should be stored as close as safely possible to the location where it's generated. Dodi Legasic, nuclear lead for Environment North, presented the committee with petitions endorsing the proximity principle and opposing the Nuclear Waste Management Organization's site selection process. She cited a history of opposition to nuclear waste in the region and highlighted environmental, technical, and liability concerns with the transportation of nuclear waste through the city.
The long distances that this high-level waste will be transported is a serious concern. since it will be coming from as far as New Brunswick. 92% will come from Southern Ontario, and on average, that's 1,650 kilometers one way. So the greater the distance is, the longer the time period equals higher probability of accidents.
In her presentation, Wendy O'Connor, spokesperson for We the Nuclear Free North, focused on the NWMO itself and their concerns with the whole proposal to bury nuclear waste in the region.
The Nuclear Waste Management Organization, which was created and is controlled today by the nuclear waste generators, New Brunswick Power, Hydro-Quebec, and OPG. Critics continue to be baffled by this arrangement, which causes the public to lose faith in the arrangement and which is the proverbial fox guarding the henhouse.
The council committee has previously recommended that the city not support the proximity principle, but was asked to revisit the question after an outcry from anti-nuclear groups who wanted their position to be considered. One concern flagged by committee chair Kristen Oliver is the vagueness of the proximity principle, which does not specify any particular distances. But ultimately, she doesn't think the city's decision will have much impact.
It essentially means nothing because the government, both the provincial and federal government, can decide what they're going to do. I think that there's some importance in having municipalities have a say in what happens in their municipal boundaries.
Oliver says there isn't a firm timeline for the committee to make a decision. They will continue deliberations from here. They may seek out more information, and she says she expects to have a recommendation for council sometime this spring. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The province has invested $1.85 million to connect more people to primary care teams in the Thunder Bay District. The announcement was made today, benefiting 3 nurse practitioner clinics. That includes the Lakehead Nurse Practitioner-led clinic at the former McKellar Hospital, the Greenstone Family Health Team, and Norwest Community Health Centre. The funding will help increase access for patients and improve programming. Lakehead NP Clinic Executive Director Pam Delgatti explains the impact the funding will have.
I think we want to make sure there's equal access for all people in the community, and I think this is going in that direction as we're sharing resources with different community partners.
Strives, great movement in those files, and that's really about how to do it. I get the information from the people, as I always say, with the boots on the ground. I take that message to Toronto and advocate for their needs.
The clinic was hoping for more funding to open a satellite location to improve service. Officials say they'll continue to work with the province to realize that expansion.
A new study indicates that schools may not have needed to close during the pandemic.
Researchers at McMaster University found that schools and daycares weren't a major source of transmission when infection prevention and control measures were used. CTV's Siobhan Morris explains.
They were challenging for kids, mums and dads too. Now a synthesis of pandemic studies from around the world show the shutdown of schools was not key to shutting down transmission of COVID-19.
They weren't these sort of hotbeds of transmission that we were concerned they would be.
The review's lead author says while school closures in March 2020 made sense, as the months passed, other tools became more powerful.
Vaccination was really important to helping mitigate spread. Masking and then test-to-stay policies also seem to be really important.
With transmission patterns in schools mirroring what we saw in the broader community. No hard feelings for this mom.
I think they did the best with the information they had at the time. I don't see what else they could have done.
Neil Stramko acknowledges COVID-19 is unique.
The knowledge that we have from this virus, may be more or less applicable to future pandemics, depending on how similar the virus is.
But there are lessons to be learned.
Conducting science and looking at the evidence as it evolved over different jurisdictions over time and being able to adapt our recommendations and be nimble as new evidence becomes available.
As far as parents are concerned about that next time,
there has to be a much larger reason to close the schools. There has to be something much bigger because we know what we can do to protect our children and protect society's health.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
Thunder Bay's local school boards have announced that classes will end early on April 8th due to the solar eclipse that afternoon. The Thunder Bay area will experience 76% coverage of the sun at the height of the eclipse. That will happen around 3:10 p.m., right as classes are being dismissed at many local schools. The Lakehead Catholic and French school boards have decided that, for safety reasons, all students will be sent home early that day. Lakehead Public Schools will close at 11:30, while the others will close at noon. Parents are asked to remind their children about the dangers of looking directly at the sun, especially during an eclipse. The last time Thunder Bay experienced an eclipse of this magnitude was in August of 2017. The local Astronomical Society plans to set up at Hillcrest Park once again to provide safe ways for the public to see the eclipse.
It was a proud day for some Indigenous high school students who got to show off a brand new tiny home that they built.
The portable residence is now destined for a First Nation community to help ease the housing crisis. Vasilios Bellos reports.
A group of Indigenous students at Hammersholt High School celebrated a big achievement on Friday. Youth in the Indigenous Skilled Trades Training Program unveiled a tiny home they built, now destined for a Matawa First Nation community. The 10 by 30-foot one-bedroom home is meant to help address the serious housing issues that remote communities face. The project taught students many skills involved with building a home, including drywalling, framing, and electrical work.
I'm not considering, I'm planning. So yeah, I'm planning to become an electrician.
That includes grade 12 student Hunter Rich from Edmonton First Nation, with the program sparking a lifelong passion. Rich says this means a lot, knowing firsthand the challenges some communities face.
I've seen houses with mold in it and, like the siding is torn off and their drywall is bad. There's no doors. Proud of myself for doing this and also my workers here. And also it feels a lot better knowing that we actually got all Indigenous.
This is the second home to come out of the program, with the first expected to be shipped to a Matawa First Nation this summer.
We're very proud of them, and I know they're going to go a long ways.
CEO David Paul Achnapanescum explains more about the challenges the housing crisis causes community members and says Matawa is considering tiny homes as a solution as well.
There's not enough houses to accommodate everyone. And what happens is people come into the city and they end up homeless. And so we in Matawa have been thinking about building tiny homes as well.
The work put into the tiny home helped the students build lifelong skills, with many now considering a career in the trades. The plan is to keep the program going and alleviate housing issues in First Nations for years to come. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Our Kids Count and the United Way of Thunder Bay have teamed up to bring the city a new fundraising campaign called For the Love of Pizza. Similar to Novemberger, For the Love of Pizza involves 14 different restaurants and pizza shops around the city. Each restaurant will donate $2 from every pizza and 50 cents per slice to Our Kids Count and the United Way. Some restaurants have a special pizza for the campaign, including Golden Bakery's breakfast-style pizza that our own Joe Sadowski just had to try out for himself. Our Kids Count Executive Director Jackie Knuff says it's another great way to raise money for an even better cause.
Creating a lot of buzz in the community right now. We have 14 local restaurants on board with this, and Golden Bakery being one of them, which we're really excited about. Angelo's been a part of our Pizza Tuesday campaign since the inception of it, and so yeah, we're just excited to see it evolve and now to do For the Love of Pizza, and it's exciting.
And we thought by joining forces, we can make it bigger and better. So it's, between now and the end of February, over 14 different types of pizza. Some of them are doing like multiple choices that people can pick from. And $2 from every pizza goes to support children, youth, and families in our community.
For the Love of Pizza runs until the end of February, and participating restaurants can be found on the United Way or Our Kids Count websites.
Yeah, Joe just couldn't resist hamming it up for the camera there while he was eating his pizza. He was busy today, not only covering the Olympic Games for us, but also
having a
lunch. That fundraising campaign. And speaking of the winter, or the Ontario Winter Games, excuse me, I believe I misspoke earlier. Haley, you're not going to know what to do with yourself because we have a forecast that is actually winter-like as the Winter Games arrive.
I know, it's quite incredible. They were hoping that it would come in time, and it did. And I like to say that snow is like Mother Nature's confetti. So it's kind of perfect for the opening ceremonies. We did have a little bit of light snow at around 7 this morning, and then it popped back into the city again between 10 a.m. and noon. So yes, a little bit of light snow confetti for the games today. Our high of the day was -10, so chillier than seasonal actually. -5 is around seasonal, so we're a little bit colder, especially with that wind chill feeling like -19. Our low for the day was -12. That happened at 3 in the morning though, and the wind chill was actually -16 there. So depending on how gusty the winds were from the northwest today was how significant that chill really was. So even though -10 was our high, it was also one of our coldest periods as far as wind chill goes. And it was a mostly cloudy day for the most part. In the rest of the region, Red Lake saw mostly cloudy skies throughout the day as well. They're at -17 right now. Their low was -23. In Kenora, they had some snow last night, but today they were just partly cloudy. They're at -15 right now. Dryden's at -16. They had light snow in the morning, but they had a sunny afternoon, so good to see for them. Fort Frances had a sunny day as well. They're at -15 right now. Their low was -19. Atikokan -14. Upsala -15. Their low was -17, so not too much change there. Armstrong had some light snow in the morning as well, but is now sunny, similar to Greenstone at -18 right now. Marathon had a little snow at lunch, but other than that, just a partly cloudy day. Wawa's -13 right now, and then Sault Ste. Marie has seen on and off light snow throughout the day. They're at -9 right now. Now, when we look at Thunder Bay for tonight, we will drop down to -18, so it will get even colder, feeling like -25 with that wind chill. We'll just have a few clouds here and there, but if you are going to any of the evening events tonight for the games, make sure you bundle up.
Okay, and enjoy Mother Nature's confetti, as
Exactly,
you said
yeah.
earlier. You know, with language like that, Haley, you may actually get me to start enjoying winter.
Oh, good.
We'll
see.
Maybe
Baby
not.
steps.
We'll ease
Baby
up a little
steps.
bit on that, but still, I like that Mother Nature's confetti. All right, well, no easy transition here, nothing to celebrate. As a noted Vladimir Putin critic, Alexei Navalny, he has been found dead at a remote Russian prison. The global community is reacting as you'd expect and laying the blame right at the feet of the Russian president. We'll have more after the break.
On this day, it is a moment to reflect on his courage, on his inspiration for all of us.